Guys, how we doing? Welcome back to Diablo 4 related content. I don't think I actually made my video talking about the new Diablo season 10. If I haven't, I will definitely upload that as my next video. But here I wanted to share with you finally, some changes that I think are going to make the game just 10 times better than it was before. Now don't get it twisted, I am a big Diablo 4 fan, like since the game came out. Admittedly, the first 2-3 seasons on launch weren't exactly the best. Obviously we knew that armors and resistances were bugged. I remember I think it was season 4, when thorns and razor plate items were so broken that even like yellow chest plates with thorns affixes on them were going for billions of gold. But in the past 2-3 seasons, from like season 7, like season 6, 7 up to now, we have got a lot of good changes. Some notable ones being obviously the DLC. We got the Vessel of Hatred DLC that came with the new biome, or new area. Nahantu came with Mephisto's boss, Urovar's boss. Even last season we've got Belial in the game, and the Mephisto boss fight that you can actually repeat and fight. Then we've got tributes, the Undercity tributes, so you can farm for specifically like runes or boss materials and masterworkings, like object side, whether it's called the masterwork gear, material, sorry, for the gear, which was a big plus, big plus. And this season especially, with the Chaos unique items, I think they're a really good addition. Just adds more replay value to like farming items you need. Obviously it might be a bit tedious, but that's the point of Diablo. You keep going through the same places over and over and over again, and hopefully you hit the jackpot with your items. And speaking of items, this post from Blizzard themselves is introducing itemization and system changes for season 11, and there is quite a lot to cover, so I'm going to go through all of them as much as I can, because I'm very intrigued as to some of the changes that I've seen on here. The one thing I want to talk about straight away, and it's number one on the list actually, is tempering and masterworking. Now, if you don't know how Diablo 4 works, they introduced tempering and masterworking, so when you hit level 60 and you start getting your like greater affixed gear, you can temper specific qualities on those items, but the method of tempering is random. So you get these little manuals from just like running around looting chests and whisper crates, and you'll get things like a manual for, let's say, Whirlwind Barbarian, like Dust Devil, so you get like Dust Devil size, Dust Devil damage, chance for it to cast twice, Ball Lightning Source, chance for Ball Lightning to do double damage, etc. Like, it's the same thing. Or there's like total armor, max health, resistances, all that kind of stuff. And they made it so you had, I believe, around 6 or 7 charges on an item to temper 2 specific qualities on them. So for example, I'm playing a Werewolf Shred Druid, and the one thing I really wanted on my Druid for Shred was for Shred to cast twice, because obviously Shred is a fast moving skill anyway, but cast it twice, you do pretty much double the damage. So I remember just spamming through this temper and couldn't get it for the life of me, and the Scroll of Restorations luckily saved me, because you can restore tempering charges on an item and then go again, but you can only do it once per item. And now they are changing it so you can actually specify what affix you want to put on an item. Now, we've been saying for ages that we don't mind if the specific tempering costs more material, because then at least we know we're getting that item. Like, it's, I get Diablo is all about RNG, but there's too much RNG involved with just making your gear a little bit better. Now, I understand if you're doing, say, enchanting, and there's a cycle, it was the same in Diablo 3. If you're picking an item to enchant and you want to add like max life, but you got to keep rolling and spending gold and spending material just to get that max life affix, and it might not even be the best roll possible. I find that pretty stupid. Excuse me. And luckily, you can restore them indefinitely, so you can just constantly go for tempers. And they've changed it so you can only temper for 1 affix now instead of 2, but I think that helps a lot, because it makes item like gearing up so much easier, because all you need is 1 specific affix for your build. Now, it might change how some builds work. I understand that some builds require like just the top of the top temperings and masterworkings. That's fine. I mean, that's how Diablo 4 works. Now you've got progress through the tempering and masterworks. That's absolutely fine. I have no qualms with that. But when we get into masterworking, that's when things get a bit crazy. So normally when you masterwork, you go from levels 1 to level 12, and when you masterwork every 4 times, there's one specific affix on your gear that has a chance to be like even greater. So let's say I have a greater affix for max life on a helmet, and I want to masterwork that so that I can get like more out of that maximum life greater affix. Again, it's random, so I can go for 4, and then it might just pick something else, like it might upgrade my total willpower on my druid or something. I don't want that, go again. And then we keep going, and I get like a little bit more armor. Normally fine, but that's not the one I need. Like, there are certain methods to just the madness. Like, you just keep going and going and going with these masterworks. It doesn't really work out. So now they've changed it. So it improves the quality of an item. So you get a bonus to the base damage, armor, or resistance of an item. And the maximum threshold is now 20 as opposed to 12. Once at maximum quality, you can roll it 1 time last for a capstone bonus. This capstone bonus upgrades a random non-greater affix on your item into a greater affix. So, let's say you already have a greater affix on your gear, but then you've got just a random one on the side. So, again, let's go back to the example. I've got greater affix on maximum life on my helmet, and then next to it, I've got like 10.5% resistance to all elements, just as a normal affix. Then I can roll the masterwork and have the chance of this capstone bonus giving me that greater affix on resistance to all elements, or like movement speed on boots, like that kind of thing, which, yeah, is nice. And then you can re-roll the greater affix without resetting your quality, so you can get it all the way to level 12, and then if you don't like the greater affix it gives you, you can just reset it, but you still have the level 20, sorry, not 12. You can still have the level 20 like leveled gear. It's just rolling for the greater affix that you want, which I am personally fine with. I think that's absolutely fine. And same here as well, they've increased the amount of base affixes found on non-unique items from 3 to 4. Now, I find that really nice, because I think some of the lower tier gear, like when you're gearing up to level 60, some of the gear is absolutely shocking. I mean, you just get basic like gold and blue items, which I understand, that's Diablo, that's how it works, but it does get repetitive, especially when, I don't know if it's just me, but when you spam, like when you start a season and you get to level 60, the first grind to 60 is fine, but after that, if you want to make any alt characters, no one really bothers with like playing it normally anymore. You just farm whisper crates, have someone unlock Torment 4 for you, and then you open up all the crates on Torment 4 and you'll get all that XP, and you'll shoot all the way up to level 60. You get all your glyphs, you get some nice starter gear as well. 9 times out of 10 you'll get some masterwork manuals as well. I don't know, I think it's pretty boring, but that's just me. Again, that's how Diablo used to work, that's how Diablo works now. I'm fine with it, but I'm glad they're making these changes just so we have a bit more variety with how we play the game. And speaking of variety, monster combat changes. Now, first few seasons of this game, I'll be honest, I was struggling a lot with combat and just trying to get through the level 1 to 100 grind, like the Paragon boards and the pits and whatever. But to be honest, it's really easy now. Like, I'm reaching pit 115 on druids just from like really average unique gear, not even like fully upgraded gear. So I'm excited to see how they change the combat in this game, because some of the enemies will just get destroyed before they're even on the screen, which is really satisfying, I'll be honest. But again, Blizzard don't want us to have this power fantasy of being just super mega overpowered and nerfing everything by the bit. But this might actually give us just more challenge in terms of how we approach combat scenarios. So they've improved monster behavior, so monsters will better react and adapt to combat in their expressed desire to end your life. Each monster should now have its own clear role and identity when fighting. So normally enemies will fight in packs, so you can have like spiders, spider hosts, but there's only like 1 or 2 monsters that will actually attack you. The other ones will just fill and just stand there until you've killed the other ones. Like, for example, I love farming like the spider caverns where you have spider hosts and you blow the hosts up and then loads of baby spiders come out and it's all just a massive pool of poison just everywhere. Obviously don't stand in the poison, but all the explosions and that, it's so much fun. But hopefully they're going to change that now so it's just a bit better. And then expect your defenses to be tested by your enemies. You'll be more regularly dealt damage from these intelligent packs. Monster affixes will also be more powerful, making them more necessary to deal with before moving on to other less important enemies. I don't mind this. I mean, there are some affixes I found really annoying for like specific builds. For example, I wish we didn't have the wall affix in this game, because the amount of builds that get crushed by an enemy putting just a normal stone wall around you, it's actually ridiculous. And the same for the, I think it's the chilling wind, where it's like just a massive wall of wind between you and the enemy, and it's just so annoying because it slows down all your projectiles, and the projectiles do 0 damage. So that's annoying. But yeah. Monster packs will also group up less, making them harder to take out in one fell swoop. The tactics have improved. Additionally, champion enemy rarity has been reworked to form champion packs. Now, I'm not entirely sure what that means. I just assume that means that we're going to have just more legendary enemies to deal with that are more intelligent and will have to be like #1 priority for beating like dungeons and pits and whatever. So I don't mind it. Elites are receiving several large changes. First of those is there are now 20 plus new affixes to learn and conquer. Okay, that's going to take me some time, but I don't mind that. Elites spawn with minions that inherit some of their affixes. Overall, we've updated enemy affixes to be more engaging, reduced overlap in their designs, and made some visual clarity improvements. Okay, if we're going to do that, can we please get rid of the maximum health affixes? Because the amount of times I'm doing high level pits and all the enemies have more health than me is absolutely stupid. So if we can get rid of that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. But here we get onto the big, I'd say the big changes. So they're reworking how all the specific like damage reductions and healing and all that system works, and they're making changes to renown as well. If you don't know what renown is, when you level up in, I forget what it's called, I'm sure it'll say it anyway, but it's right on the tip of my tongue. I'm sure we'll find it somewhere, but anyway, let's get into it. So we're making several changes to the way effective health interacts with damage reduction and how those individual stats are calculated. Our goal is to properly test your defenses as you climb through difficulty tiers. Now, don't forget, they did change how you progress through difficulty tiers, and they just made getting to Torment 4 just a little bit harder, because let's be honest, once you get to like level 60 in the old seasons, you pretty much can fly straight to Torment 4 because you don't need that much gear, and all the enemies aren't really that strong, and the bosses were absolutely diabolical for T4 in my opinion. Like, you can just destroy them with one click. I mean, you still can now, but like when you try and they progress from Torment 1 to Torment 4, it's a lot harder now. So yeah, excuse me. Putting more emphasis on gearing your builds towards survivability. Now that it should be a thing anyway. I like playing like barbarians and druids with large health pools and large amounts of fortify, which I believe they are changing in this. Fortify is really good, but I think they're going to tweak it slightly just so maybe it's not as strong, or maybe it just affects like how you heal or something. I don't know, but anyway. Armor and res will both become rating systems with diminishing returns at high values. Armor now reduces all damage taken, both physical and non-physical. I am so glad they made this change, because I'm so sick of having like 1,800 or 2,000 armor and then get one shot by a poison ball. Like, I have max poison res and over the max armor threshold, and I'm still getting one shot in like just normal Torment 4 by a poison ball that an enemy dropped when I killed it. It doesn't make sense, but I appreciate it. And they're also introducing physical damage as a resistance. That does make sense. I'm surprised that wasn't in the game to begin with, because enemies can just come up to you and like swipe you with like pincers and stuff. So physical damage, I'd say so. With these changes to armor and res in mind, the armor and res penalties per torment tiers have been removed. I actually welcome this change, because the amount of times I would be in like Torment 1 and have really good armor and res, and then go to Torment 2 and it's just like a 50% drop off. It's absolutely insane. So I have to rework all my gear and find more graphic stuff for like armor and res and all that stuff. So I'm glad they got rid of that. Additionally, skills and paragon nodes are being reworked with the changes in mind. Paragon nodes and skills that provide various forms of damage reduction now grant a multiplicative bonus to your armor or all resistances. Again, I welcome this change. I think it's just more to help them all like strengthen it into one specific stat. I remember Diablo 4 was infamous for having so many different stats for specific like damage types. Like there was 15 different options for damaging with a werewolf, it was like damage with werewolf versus chilled, damage versus werewolf versus like burning, like that kind of thing. So I'm glad they're making that change. They're adding a new stat called toughness that represents the total amount of raw damage of each type you can take after considering all damage mitigation sources. I believe toughness was in the other Diablo games, so I'm glad they're bringing it back. Again, it just makes it more understandable. If you put it all in one piece and just one spot, you can see like where the problem lies, and I think that's a really good way to like balance your game if you are going for that. So I appreciate that. And speaking of appreciating, they're changing the potions. So the base capacity is now reduced to 4, but instead of it being like a small healing over time, it's now an instant heal. So you'd heal with a potion, and then you get like a certain amount of healing on the base, and then you get like a build up of additional health, like percentage wise. And I really like that. So you can just press it once and it will heal you for 35% of your total health immediately. You don't have to wait for the regen. It's so much fun. And then you can also regenerate a potion every 30 seconds. Now, I can see some builds getting hit by that. There are builds that require you to use like a potion to activate like overpowers and to summon maybe like spirits and stuff, or maybe just give you critical strike for 5 seconds. I know my Raven Druid, especially with these chaos powers this season, absolutely needs to use potions to activate what's called Crazy Brew, where you pop a potion and you get like 100 times more damage. Basically, it's just stupid amounts of damage. So I can see some builds getting hit by that, but then again, if you can like somehow find a way to lower the regen on the potion, maybe there's an affix for that or something. I can see how that can work. But anyway, to compensate, life on hit has been re-added as a potential affix. It has a minor cooldown, so it no longer scales with enemy density. So yeah, so life on hit was pretty much the bread and butter of most builds back in the day. So you can just hit an enemy, like hit an entire enemy pool with one shot, and you get all the health like from every enemy you've hit just all into one. So you can just go from 0, like from 1 HP all the way up to max with one click of the mouse. It was so good, but you know, the game's a game. And the increasing values for life regen, life on kill, healing percentage are made them more available. Healing potion upgrades have been removed, considering potions are now a portion of your overall health. As long as they do the like maximum for it, so like when you maximize your potion upgrade, as long as this specific upgrade, like, well, this overall health healing is the maximum amount, that's fine. I don't mind that. And what I'm going to look at now is Fortify. Now, I'm worried about Fortify because I don't know what it is about Fortify, but I love playing Druids and Barbarians lately that have loads of Fortify, because the UI for the Fortify, like, icon, I don't know what it is. It just looks so glossy. I'll have to just show you in game, but it looks so nice. So Fortify is shifting now from a type of damage reduction to an additional reservoir of life that's drained to heal you over time. So I actually don't mind this. So you can still have like a lot of Fortify, but then that's kind of like an extra health pool. So say you have like 9,000 health normally just without Fortify, and then you get 9,000 Fortify on the side. You basically have 18k health. So you will lose health on your main one first, but then obviously the Fortify will heal you, and it stacks up with your maximum life. So you have like so and so health, and then you have so and so Fortify. So it's, yeah, I don't mind that. So yeah, as it says here, when you now gain Fortify, it will stack up to your max life. When you have Fortify under max life, you'll heal for a percentage of your maximum life per second in exchange for an equal amount of Fortify. Now, you will be considered fortified as long as you have any amount of fortified. I'm glad that's a thing, because for some reason, I don't know what it has been lately, but damage when fortified for me has been so broken in this game. Like, if you have like one fortify, just one, it doesn't work. But now, if you have any amount of fortify, it will count. Because I think some builds had fortified to be like specific number thresholds, like you had to have it at least like 200 or something, but thank God they changed it, thank God. But before we get into this, I'm going to do a quick bathroom break, so be right back. Okay, we're back, sorry about that. So where were we? We were talking about, well, let's go on to the next one, I guess. So the season rank. So capstone dungeons are returning, as it says here. Now, capstone dungeons were fine, but I think people just got really annoyed with the whole thing, because the idea was you get to a certain level in the game, and then you can access the capstone dungeons to move on to the next torment tier, which on its own was fine, but I think the challenge for them was just a bit boring, to be honest. So they changed it so you had to just complete like a specific level of the pit, and then you can access the difficulty, which is a lot better. So now they are shifting into a more challenged version, stocked with a season rank. Now, each tier requires you to complete a challenge, usually a capstone dungeon, before progressing to the next rank. Similarly to previous capstone dungeons, these can be attempted before the recommended level and difficulty. So yeah, so they normally recommend like level 35 to get into like a Torment 2 capstone dungeon, but you can do it at like level 20 as long as you have just the right gear, I guess, and the right like skill set. So yeah, so renown changes in the seasonal realm. So your renown will now only stand permanently in the eternal realm. Same with the purge capacities as well. Within the seasonal realm, you can still earn the additional benefits associated with renown based on your progress, tied to the rank system. Complete challenges within each rank to earn specific benefits, while completing an entire rank will grant additional capstone bonuses. So I think they are pretty much reverting all our progress from renown and reworking it to the season rank, which I think is I'm not sure. I'm divisive on that. So the rank will earn additional skill points at 1, 2, and 3. Season rank awards additional paragon points at 3, 4, 5, and 6. And Altars of Lilith and Tenets of Akarak will still grant some experience and minor rewards rather than permanent stats and power. Again, so we had this problem at the start of the game. In the first season, we thought all our renown was going to carry over from the base game into the season, but it didn't. So you had to go through all that again. So you had to get all of the stats, all of the Altars of Lilith, all of the side quests, all the fucking strongholds, and to do all that again just to get some little like +5 intelligence stats, +5 dexterity stats, total armor cap increase, total life increase, that kind of thing, which I find really stupid. But if that's what they want to do, I'm not the devs, I can't stop them. But here we have the capstone dungeons. So normally you just fight one guy, and it was Elias. I don't know if it's going to be him again, but there's 5 levels to conquer. So the first one is level 30 on normal. The second one is level 50 on expert, and then 60 on T1, 60 on T2, 3, and there's not one for T4, which I guess that one does unlock T4 actually, because you're on T3, so that makes sense. And then this one I'm going to brush over very slightly because I'm not exactly a leaderboard person, but they are finally adding leaderboards to Diablo 4. We've been asking for this for ages. Diablo 2 has leaderboards, even Diablo 3 has leaderboards, and have ladders, and all of this. But they're introducing the tower. So it's a multi-stage time dungeon that is meant to only be bested by the most elite of wanderers. So it's more or less a reskin pit, just more challenging, in their words. And I think this is how you master the leaderboards. I believe this is going to be like the greater rifts, like the challenge rifts in Diablo 3. So you can blitz through this as fast as possible. And they actually have ladders for once, which is absolutely ridiculous. We're 11 seasons in and we finally have leaderboards. Upon completing your tower run, you'll see the tower tier you completed in your final time. Obviously there's a hardcore and normal section, just so like there's no like mixed match, and they've got leaderboards based on solo classes and then parties, so you can do like parties 2, 3, 4, and then all the solo classes on the hardcore and normal difficulties. And obviously it should tell you the rank, play name, time, etc. And you can doing it for all platforms and PC. That's going to be hard to judge, but yeah, fair enough. The welcome back booster, I don't actually know what this is. New accounts will now not be granted the welcome back booster and will no longer be automatically added to the journal for new characters. If you create an account and log in anytime before the end of season 10, you will still earn and be able to use the welcome booster at any time. Yeah, I don't know what the welcome booster is. Welcome back booster, I haven't used it. I don't really see a neat reason to use it, but I guess if you're making a new character, that works. But here's what I'm excited for. Azmodan is in the game. So we've had Andariel, Duriel, Belial, and now Mephisto in the game, and I'm finally, oh, and the High Council as well. I'm very glad they're in the game, because obviously they're a staple to the Diablo series. And Azmodan from Diablo 3, I really welcome it. He does fit the game pretty well. Same with Astaroth, that's his name. He's like a big gimmick this season. But Azmodan is now a permanent world boss who can invade Sanctuary, and I believe that he will have his own lair, but I'm pretty sure he'll be a world boss, but I'm kind of hoping he does get his own specific lair as well, because I don't know, I kind of expect it to be honest. But if you do want to play the new season, test out all the stuff, the PTR is actually now available. It's out now, but you have until the 28th of October. I'm not sure what this time set will be my time, but you could do the conversion. Yeah, if you want to play it, go for it. The easiest way to play it is you go onto Diablo 4, and then there'll be a public test realm. You have to install that. I believe it's quite big in size. It's calculating it for me, because I think you just download the entire game again. Yeah, 147 gig. I will not be doing that, but yeah, go for it and have fun with it. So before I go, I'm actually going to show you guys one small thing that I like about this season, and I find it really clutch that this is a thing now. I don't know if it was just in this season or any seasons prior to this. But when my game launches, that is, I will show you, because this game has a habit, for me at least on my PC, of launching really slowly. It's not like my PC can't handle the game. Like, I can play this game flawlessly, it's just booting it up. I think it's just a BattleNet server thing. Netcode, because it does it with Overwatch as well, which is also a BattleNet game, so I'm not sure. But just to show you how addicted I am to this game. So I've got very original character names, I know, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to make a 7th character this season. So I'm going to go for this Druid. Very nice, awesome build, I know. Very nice lion skin. Okay, so I'm kind of hoping that I have one on me that will show you this. Oh, I do not. But if you're ever playing this game from now on, and you're like starting Nightmare Dungeons, there is now an icon like here on the bottom right that will show you if that dungeon is part of a Nightmare Whisper. So like, see these whispers here for the dungeons have it on them. You can actually craft sigils and it will be on the bottom, which I think is so good, because say you're doing Nightmare Dungeons to excuse me, to grab like distilled fear summons, or to get your glyphs to drop and whatever, it's so much better. So I somehow didn't get any of those with it on. That's crazy. Let me salvage these and make some more. I'm hoping that I actually can get one of these now. Yep, there you go. So it grants favor for 16 minutes, as it says on there, and it's so clutch. And let's see if I can get lucky with some boots here. I need some Chaos unique boots for my build, and I didn't get any. But I will take those, because I'm going to start a Boulder Druid, so I will take them. And yeah, I'll take them. And I have nothing else really to finish, like to play this game with. Is that the ones that have Boulder on them? Where did I put them? Yep, they're there, cool. Yeah, I don't know what else I can finish in this season. I pretty much got everything. I got 3 billion gold. I have possibly the best items in the game with these Raven pants. I was going to sell them, but then I realised that I might as well just use them, because I really like this build. Finally got my Shroud Mythic. Finally, the Greater Ethics is not very good, but I don't mind the rolls on that, and then the Ring of Starless Skies as well. I don't mind that. so I have 16 ranks to Ravens, which is more than enough. But yeah, other than that, guys, I think that is going to be it from me. So thank you all for watching. If you are still following Diablo 4, good on you. Obviously, the progression from the start of the game till now has been very, very slow, but I'm glad we're finally making steps in the right direction. Especially with this new rework that's coming to the entire game. I think it is needed. Mainly because other games like Last Epoch, PoE 2 as well, they're still going strong. So I think it does make more sense that we are having this system now of trying to make the game harder and more rewarding in the process. And I get that Diablo 4 is catered to a more casual audience. Like, I'm not saying that I'm like the most knowledgeable Diablo 4 player. There are things to this day that I'm still learning about in this game, which I do enjoy that, but obviously it comes a point where it just gets too much and I have to like look up guides. Like, my first builds, like leveling builds, I always use the same leveling builds, but then when it comes to endgame builds, I normally read the patch notes and see what's strong and then just go for that. Like, I'm really hoping that, oh, that outfit's cool. I'm really hoping that this season, next season, for druids at least, that boulder gets upgraded, because I've seen people shred with that boulder build, but it's A tier and I kind of want that to be an S tier. So I'm gonna try using a boulder this season. I mean, I've got so many like so much spare gear. I've got all these unique amulets that I need for boulder. I kind of need a different greater affix, but I don't mind that. And yeah, well, anyway, I'm gonna stop waffling now. Thank you for watching. As I've already said, if you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, all the good stuff. All the best, and I will see you later. Take care.